What's good, YouTube? It's your boy Black's Money back with another YouTube video. Excuse me, I'm sorry. Today we will be reacting to the college football playoffs. Rankings are awful. And they are awful, bro. The committees do not know what they want to do, bro. And if you're new, make sure you like, comment, subscribe. If you're not new, make sure you like, comment. Yeah, man. And I appreciate it. I'm roll tide. So, yeah, we did lose, but Oklahoma's not better than us. They're not. They won. But we see them again. They will not beat us. Just know that. But y'all gonna see the bullshit in this video, though, that the committees be doing. Strength of schedule matters. But they do bullshit like this.
Here's my big problem with the committee. They don't know what they're doing. They have no idea what they're saying. And they got exposed last night. You want to know how they got exposed? They did it themselves. Take a look at this. This is one of the stupidest things I've ever seen. And it doesn't matter who you're a fan of. We can all agree on this. The more these guys talk, I'm talking about the nerds in the committee room, the dumber they look.
Let's see this bullshit.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls.
W. Matt. You good now, John? W. Matt, excuse me.
Hope you're having a great week. Hope you're having a great Wednesday. If not, hope this video can make it a little bit better. And man, oh man, the college football playoff rankings came out last night. The third rankings of the year. And
these two teams right here suck.
I'm not going to sugarcoat it. Trash. They're awful. Probably one of the worst rankings I've ever seen since we've expanded, not just to the 12-team playoff, but the 4-team playoff. Ever since we left the BCS era. Yeah, y'all remember that? Seems like it was, what, 40 years ago? But it was only 10 years ago. 2013 was the last year in the BCS era. Then in 2014, we went to the 14 playoff where Ohio State got in at the 4 seed, and they wound up running the table and winning it all with the backup quarterback. And I would say for the vast majority of the entire run of the 14 playoff, the rankings were always pretty solid, and there was nothing ever to gripe about outside of 1 or 2 seasons, and most recently, the Florida State one getting snubbed, but to me that wasn't controversial. The only thing that was sad about it is the team won every single game and they didn't make the playoff, but it is what it is. Well, now here we are. Fast forward time into our current date. The 12-team playoff, it hasn't been going so smooth. Last night, there was many things to look forward to, but I think the one thing everybody was wanting to see was how far Alabama was going to drop. But not only that, where's Texas going to go? Is there a chance they sneak in with 3 losses if they upset Texas A&M? What about Oklahoma? What about Notre Dame? What about Oregon? We all knew what the top 6 was going to be. With Alabama dropping a game, you're going to have your teams like Georgia, Texas Tech, and Ole Miss going up a spot. But it was 7 through, I'd say, 15, really, that has a lot of people scratching their heads, including myself. If you didn't see my live reaction to the rankings last night, the video's on the channel. Feel free to check it out for yourself, but I'll go over it once again. And oh yeah, by the way, I looked at the comment section in that video. Stop calling me a supervillain. Lex Luthor is crazy. Y'all gotta chill. And I'm not even reading off some of the other comments because y'all are wilding out. Anyways, getting back on track here. Me personally, I had Alabama ranked at number 9 in the MBG poll, aka my rankings. And I did have Notre Dame ahead of them myself. My biggest gripe with the committee isn't the Alabama-Notre Dame thing, which we'll get to in just a second, a little foreshadowing. It's the Oregon one. Let me say this again. I have Alabama at 9. I don't think Oregon should be ahead of Alabama, but I especially don't think they should be ahead of Oklahoma and Notre Dame. What are we doing? I've said it a million times. I'm going to say it again. What has Oregon done? Nothing. They don't have a ranked win. Fun fact of the day. Oregon does not have a ranked win. Let that sink in. I already know all your Timothys and Bobbies are going to say, well, Matt, they just beat Iowa. Buddy, Iowa's not ranked. That's not a ranked win. They were ranked when they play them, but not anymore. And that's how you got to view it. So currently, as to where it stands, the best thing on Oregon's resume, no lie, no joke, I wish I could make this up, is you lost to Indiana by 10.
Style and substance. In the GMC Sierra.
Talking about the committee is just jackass.
At home. That's the best thing on your resume. A double-digit loss. I want you to listen to this. I wound up quote tweeting this. I'm reading it off word for word. College football playoff chair Hunter Yurachek said that Oregon is still getting credit for beating Penn State, even though the Nittany Lions fell off after that game.
Nicole.
What? Whoa. So they are treating that Penn State win like it's valuable, and they're saying, oh, well,
College football chair See that Oregon is still getting credit for beating Penn State.
State was a top 25 team. They were really good until Oregon beat them. What? You can't do that. What are we talking about here? I wound up quote tweeting it and saying, according to this logic, Alabama shouldn't be penalized for losing to an unranked Florida State team. See how dumb that sounds? Blasphemous. Penn State sucks. They're 4-6. How would it sound if I sat up here and told you guys, well, I don't think the Alabama loss to Florida State wasn't as bad as you are making out to seem because Florida State was undefeated at the time? You'd sit there and go, Matt, you're an idiot. Dude, they're barely going to make a bowl game. Same thing I'm saying with Penn State. What do you mean Oregon's getting credit for beating a team that is 4-6? I can't even get upset about that. I can't even scream, go on a rant or tangent. It's blasphemous. That's the only thing I know to say. Heck, I'll throw out another one for you. Actually, this is a great example. That'd be the equivalent of saying, and I should say, well, Alabama should be getting credit for beating Wisconsin because Wisconsin was undefeated when Alabama beat them. And what is Wisconsin now? Something like 4-6, 3-7? Same thing. We're not giving credit to Alabama for beating an undefeated Wisconsin team who was reeling on all cylinders before they went into Bryant-Denny Stadium. So why in the world are we giving Oregon credit for beating Penn State? They suck. And everybody's saying what I'm saying, just scrolling through the comments. So Vanderbilt, I presume, should get credit for beating number 10 LSU, number 11 South Carolina, number 15 Missouri? Yeah, same logic. Every single one of these comments is people saying their favorite team should also be getting credit for beating a ranked team who is now no longer ranked. And I agree with you. It is a great rebuttal. Here is what Hunter Yurachek had to say. Let's read this off word for word because I don't want to take anything out of context. Good evening. Thank you for joining us. We had significant discussion of the teams 7 through 10, quite candidly, all grouped there together, comparing Oregon, Oklahoma, Notre Dame, and Alabama and the resumes of those teams. Oregon, while their strength of schedule metric may not be as strong as in Oklahoma, we felt like they're a very strong team on both sides of the ball, offensively and defensively.
So what? They scored 18 points against Iowa.
They rank in the top 10 in most of these statistical categories that we use in comparison to other teams. They had a really big win at Iowa. Oh yeah, beating unranked Iowa. Sorry to tell you, Iowa's a big win. 2 weeks ago, Iowa was ranked in our top 25 previously. Well, they no longer are. They won at Penn State. I know Penn State is not the same Penn State we expected them to be this year. Still, it's a very challenging place to play. Don't even get me started. Don't even get me started. Chill on that. As evidenced by Indiana having to have a last-second touchdown to win there a couple weeks ago. So since Indiana struggled with Penn State, we're saying it's a tough place to play at. Okay, they're 4-6, you nerd. There was a significant discussion about that. But Oregon at 9-1 just stayed one spot ahead of Oklahoma at 8. This is one of the stupidest things I've ever seen. It doesn't matter who you're a fan of. We can all agree on this. The more these guys talk, I'm talking about the nerds in the committee room, the dumber they look. Oklahoma just went into your fourth-ranked team in the nation's home stadium and upset them. Sure, Oklahoma got outgained. It wasn't pretty or whatnot, but they won the game. That's the only stat that matters. They won. And you mean to tell me Oregon is better than Oklahoma? I mean, come on, man. What are we doing? This whole eye test thing, they're trying to say, well, Oregon looks a little bit better offensively and defensively. It's because they're playing bombs. What are we talking about? Of course, Oregon looks a little better offensively because they're playing nobody. It's way easier to look good on both sides of the ball when you're playing inferior competition. I try not to talk about them a lot, and I try not to hype them up because I know everybody's sick and tired of them. But reality is the SEC, saying it's a gauntlet would be understated. SEC is the cream of the crop. It's where you get all your 4- and 5-star recruits. It is so hard in that conference every single week, or most weeks. Whereas you got Oregon playing teams like Oklahoma State, Northwestern, Oregon State, Penn State, Rutgers, Wisconsin. Give me a break. I'll even say the Iowa game's challenging. Outside of that, I mean, they are playing cupcakes. And you can't even say I'm lying. Alabama has played Wisconsin twice the past 2 years and beat them like a drum. So I'm going to say this one more time. Of course, Oregon looks a little bit better, against these
Follow
sucky
this, 'cause I'm on here
teams.
right now.
So
I'm
there's
posting
my
this video
Oregon
after
rant.
I get done with
The committee
this.
just made themselves
I'm
look
posting
dumb
on
trying to
YouTube.
explain why they have Oregon ranked
And
where
then
they
I'm
do.
gonna watch
Let's get into this
the
Notre Dame
Lakers after
Alabama
this.
thing. I saw a lot of people
Even though the Lakers game
expecting
probably
Alabama
won't
to be
get
ranked
blocked,
number 9,
I'm
Notre
still
Dame
gonna
at
react
10.
to it
Both
on
teams have 2
stream.
losses. There's great arguments for both of them. There really is. I'll start out with this. In my rankings, you see them right here. I'll pop them up on the screen for you just to give you a quick reminder and refresher. I have Alabama at 9 and Notre Dame at 7. Let me explain this before we go any further. Context is key. Does Alabama have a way, and I mean a way better resume than the Notre Dame Fighting Irish? Yes, they do. It is not even close. Resume for resume, Alabama, much better. They have 4 top 25 wins,
Man,
and
they
the
got the
best
best
win in all
resume,
college
man.
football. They beat Georgia
They got
at
the best
Georgia.
resume
And Georgia's
out of
one
the
the best
top
teams in
10.
the nation. But, and I have a ginormous, enormously large big but, Notre Dame looks like the much better football team to me. And when they look like the much better football team, I'm going to give them the edge. I can respect Notre Dame a little bit more than Oregon because they beat a top 15 USC team by double digits. Oregon doesn't even have a ranked win. And not only that, you want to say, well, Matt, we beat Iowa. It took a walk-off field goal to beat Iowa, and you went into 2 overtimes with a sorry and sucky Penn State team. And that's my dilemma with Oregon. It'd be different if they were creaming everybody. They're not creaming everybody. They're struggling. But Notre Dame on the flip side, no. My brother in Christ, they are creaming. I'm talking in all caps, creaming their competition. It is blowout after blowout after blowout after blowout. Their closest game after the 2 losses.
Matt, my mans. Ain't no way you an Alabama fan talking like this game. Hold on, Matt. Matt. You said they 2 losses, right? You said they 2 losses, right? Then you said they 2 losses! That's all you gotta know.
Losses was the 10-point win against USC. And why did they lose to Texas A&M, who is an undefeated team, 11 on the SEC? Because Tyler Buckner couldn't fill the extra point snap. He gets that down. You're going into overtime. And granted, maybe they still lose the game, but point being, you lost to an undefeated 11-0 team in the SEC by 1 point at home. I'm not going to hold that against you too much. The Miami loss was a little bit worse than it did at the beginning of the year, but still, not a bad one. I know it's not impressive, but Notre Dame does have one ranked win, and they're just blowing out everybody. So that is why, for me personally, I like Notre Dame more than Alabama. Let me throw this out there. If by the end of the year, Notre Dame doesn't have a ranked win, let's say, hypothetically speaking, USC falls out of the top 25, I'm going to have Alabama ahead of Notre Dame because, to me, resumes have to matter. But as long as you have one top 25 win, I'm cool with it. And it's not even a top 25 win. I think USC's 15, so it's a top 15 win. So I am giving the edge to Notre Dame there, and the committee wound up doing the same thing. However,
how many years has Allstate donated to participating schools for every field goal and extra point made? 20 years.
It was for different reasons. Here's my big problem with the committee. They don't know what they're doing. They have no idea what they're saying, and they got exposed last night. You want to know how they got exposed? They did it themselves. Take a look at this. College Football Playoff Chairman Hunter Yurachek on a conference call in part explained, I've been telling y'all since week 2, go back. Don't lose. They care about records more than get more rushing yards than Alabama in that game. Here's the last thing I'll say before we end out this video. I'll give you the Bama fan in me for just a second. You've been hearing the analyst. Here's the Bama fan. As long as we get in, I really don't care. And you see this playoff from the University of Alabama. Right here, I pray to God. I tweeted it out.
No, Matt. I see Alabama his tweet too.
Path. I would love to play Oregon. Just so we can prove how overrated that team is. I hope it happens, man. I hope it happens. Many more things I could say when we're off here. Let me know your thoughts down below. But
so beautiful to play Oregon, then you play Indiana. Oh my, that is so sweet. What I mean, that was so sweet. That's a cupcake. That y'all, bro, that's a cupcake, bro. That's like, but I'm curious about. That's like some buys, bro. Them 2 games is buys, literally. But my bad. But yeah, man. Alabama is winning the national championship this year. Mark my words. Alabama is winning the national championship this year. Only way Alabama doesn't is because of Alabama. Shout out to Jay Willie Silly. Mr. Take It Easy before you end up like by side. But what? See that was Dick. That was Dick riding game. But besides the point, if you're new to this channel, make sure you like, comment, subscribe. If you're not new, make sure you like, comment. I mean, yeah, word. Like, if you're not new, like, if you're not subscribed and you're not new, make sure you subscribe. I said subscribe, so you better subscribe. Alright, I'm out, man. Alabama win the national championship this year. All them trash, goofy little teams in the top 10, goofy trash. They all trash. Indiana, Oregon, they all trash. Ohio State definitely trash. Well, Ohio State trash. Indiana definitely trash. Like, I ain't gonna lie, Ohio State could be an SEC team. I ain't gonna lie. They'll be in the playoffs. I'm gonna get all bug with you. No, the fuck they will not knock out. Nah, they couldn't compete with SEC. Like, that's a team that actually probably can. Only Big Ten team that like has a best chance of doing something in SEC is Ohio State, but like they'll be like the third best team. Give it a buck. They wouldn't be the worst. Hell no, nowhere near the worst. Nah, hell nah. Get a buck. I ain't gonna hate like that, but they wouldn't be better than us, but you feel me? Like, they'll be Tennessee, they'll be Oklahoma, they'll be all them teams, type shit. Only team they not probably gonna be is us and probably, keep it real, Georgia K. But, yeah, if you're new, make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and I'm out.